Also das Thema ist Publisher-Strategien im Real-Time-Advertising. Die oberste Strategie, die sehen Sie schon da oben links auf dem Slide, das ist Build Your Own Private Ad Exchange. Und Build Your Own Private Ad Exchange, das ist die erste Stufe, damit Sie selber die Kontrolle behalten und die Vorteile des automatisierten Anzeigenhandels nutzen und Ihre individuelle Strategie umsetzen. Jede Strategie ist anders, jeder Publisher hat eine neue Ausgangsbasis und da gibt es keine One-Size-Fits-All und kein Blueprint-Abzug, genau. Das habe ich gerade schon erzählt, also 2000 auch gegründet, die europäische Sell-Side-Plattform. Neben dem Headquarter in Amsterdam auch noch weitere Büros in London, Madrid, München und Paris. Mit aktuell 65 Mitarbeitern können Sie von technologischer Weiterentwicklung und viel Service rechnen. Das deutsche Team sehen Sie hier nur ganz kurz. Ich will es nur eben an die Wand werfen, falls Ihnen die Gesichter auch mal irgendwo begegnen. Und mit dem deutschen Team versuchen wir eben für deutsche Publisher oder im deutschsprachigen Raum auch deutschen Service anzubieten. Für Publisher, aber auch bei der Aktivierung der Demand-Seite, damit das, was wir gerade schon ein paar Mal gehört haben, auf der Demand-Seite ist noch zu wenig los, dass wir das für die Publisher für sie eben aktivieren. So, eine maßgeschneiderte Lösung für Premium-Publisher sollte 3 Dinge insbesondere beinhalten. A, die Yield-Optimierung zur maximalen Monetarisierung der Werbeeinnahmen. B, das RTB-Enabling, damit alle Demand-Partner angebunden sind. Demand-Partner, wie wir sie hier beispielsweise sehen, die DSPs, Ad-Networks, Targeting-Networks, Trading-Desks und Ad-Exchanges. Und nicht zuletzt eben die Private Marketplace-Funktionalität, sodass sie auch das, was heute insbesondere eben auch das tägliche Leben ausmacht und den Verkauf vom Premium-Inventar ausmacht, dass sie die 1:1 Beziehungen, die direkt verhandelten Vereinbarungen mit ihren Werbepartnern, mit den Agenturen, dass sie die automatisiert und für sie auch geschützt, das heißt, dass auch nur Sie das sehen, Sie die Regeln bestimmen können, 1:1 automatisiert umsetzen können. Sie kennen wahrscheinlich alle diese Market Map. Mit der Market Map versuchen wir seit Jahren in Deutschland, aber auch in anderen Ländern in Europa mehr Klarheit reinzubringen, welche Marktteilnehmer eigentlich welche Funktion ausfüllen. Und wenn Sie das so sehen, als wir das erste Mal angefangen haben, haben wir knapp, ich glaube 100, 120, 130 Logos drin gehabt. Heute sind auf dieser Market Map 250, über 250. Sie ist sicherlich immer noch nicht vollständig, weil sich ja täglich was ändert. Aber um Ihnen bei diesem hochfrequentierten Markt noch ein bisschen mehr Klarheit reinzubringen, machen wir es mal ganz einfach. Wie in jedem Markt gibt es auf der einen Seite Angebot und auf der anderen Seite Nachfrage. So, das Angebot sind natürlich die Publisher, die nachfragen, sind die Agenturen. Und das, was im Endeffekt jetzt die Technologien wie die Sell-Side-Plattform, die Demand-Side-Plattform machen, ist nichts anderes, als es zu automatisieren, um die direkten Kundenbeziehungen wiederherzustellen. So, nun zu den einzelnen Strategien, die im Grunde genommen Prinzipien sind, bevor wir jetzt wirklich in die Details gehen mit Spilgames und eBay. Das sind eigentlich folgende. Wenn Sie dieses Bild sehen, eine Strategie, was kann das jetzt eigentlich bedeuten? Das ist jetzt mir eingefallen, weil letzten Sonntag bei dem 55. jährlichen Daytona NASCAR-Rennen hat zum ersten Mal eine Frau die Pole Position erreicht. Und die Pole Position startet, oder die Frau in der Pole Position startet natürlich ganz vorne. Jetzt können Sie sich vorstellen, wer vorne fährt, hat am meisten Platz, am meisten Spielraum und die hinten sind, ja, bei denen wird die Luft eng, die können sich schon mal behakeln, vielleicht werden sie auch ganz rausgeschossen aus dem Rennen. Aber deswegen ist die erste Strategie, get out of the middle. Get out of the middle bedeutet im Endeffekt, wer vorne fährt, ist am meisten ungestört, hat am meisten Freiraum. Und daher ist die Empfehlung hier klar als erste Strategie, wer noch nicht angefangen hat, fangen Sie an. Wir haben ja heute oft gehört, dass deutsche Publisher testen. Ja, testen ist gut, dazu muss man anfangen, das muss man machen. Man muss testen, um frühzeitig Erfahrung zu sammeln, um im Endeffekt viel besser zu werden. Das nächste Slide, was kann das bedeuten? Im Endeffekt Automatisierung. Wir haben schon ein paar Mal darüber gesprochen, wir alle haben auf der einen Seite gute Mitarbeiter. Gute Mitarbeiter tun heute aber viel zu oft viel zu standardisierte Dinge, die eben teilweise auch sehr langweilig sind. Ich glaube, wir kennen, oder die meisten hier kennen das Slide mit, dass eine gute Online-Kampagne ca. 42 Arbeitsschritte beinhaltet. Möglicherweise der bekannteste von den 42 Arbeitsschritten ist der, neben dem Faxgerät zu stehen und auf das Eintreffen des unterschriebenen Auftrags zu kommen und damit zum Chef zu laufen und so weiter hin und her. Das kann man sich sparen, sollte man sich sparen. Insofern nutzen Sie Automatisierung, um eben diese standardisierten Arbeitsprozesse schneller zu machen, effizienter zu gestalten. Und ich kann nicht die Befürchtung teilen, dass sich irgendjemand um seinen Arbeitsplatz fürchten muss. Das, was hier ersetzt wird an Arbeitsschritten, das ist eher langweilig. Wir wissen alle, dass wir in diesem Markt, in Deutschland insbesondere, eher einen hohen Mangel an guten, qualifizierten Arbeitskräften haben, weil es so viele spannende Möglichkeiten gibt. Und denen kann man sich natürlich in Zukunft auch vielleicht ein bisschen verstärkt widmen. Publisherstrategien, hier sehen wir eine Fernsteuerung. Also viele Gespräche, die ich in den letzten Wochen und Monaten führen konnte mit Publishern, gehen im Grunde genommen darum, dass Publisher sagen, ich muss 2 Kernkompetenzen erfüllen. Die erste ist die, wie ich hochwertige Reichweite erzeuge, und die zweite ist die, wie ich diese Reichweite monetarisiere. Das muss ich selber wissen. Da muss ich selber, vielleicht mache ich das heute noch nicht mal so, aber ich muss selber doch das, was ich an hohem Gut habe, diesem Traffic, da muss ich selber auch verstehen, wie ich das zu Geld machen kann. Also sollten Sie die Kontrolle behalten, und damit Sie im Endeffekt kontrollieren, wer werben darf, für welchen Advertiser, auf welcher Platzierung, nach welchen Regeln und zu welchem Preis. Und bei dem Preis beispielsweise, da sollten Sie auf maximale Transparenz bestehen. Sie sollten genau wissen, welchen Preis die Demand-Seite bereit ist, auf Ihrem Traffic zu zahlen. Wenn Sie das nicht wissen, ja, dann, oder andersrum, wenn Sie es wissen, können Sie daraus Ableitungen machen, wie Ihr Premium-Sales vielleicht in den Verkauf rangeht. Und da sollten Sie darauf achten, dass Sie den Bruttopreis kennen und nicht nur das kennen, was bei Ihnen als Publisher am Ende rauskommt. So, jetzt sehen wir hier ein nettes Pferd, wir sehen ein nettes Kind. Das Pferd ist ganz schön groß, und die Frage ist aber eigentlich, wer hier mit wem reiten geht. Die Anmerkung dazu ist, don't let the horse ride you. Die Empfehlung ist, lasst euch nicht von der Technologie eben übernehmen, sondern lernt diese Technologie zu nutzen. Bestimmen Sie den Einsatz der Technologien für das Inventar, damit Sie verstehen, wie das wirklich funktioniert, wie die Demand-Seite läuft. Und das sind die Eckpunkte im Endeffekt für meine kurze Einleitung, die damit endet, nochmal, dass Sie die Vorteile kennenlernen sollten, einen Private Ad Exchange aufzubauen. Und an der Stelle freue ich mich, die Überleitung zu machen zu dem wirklich interessanten Teil. Jetzt wird es nämlich vielleicht sogar ein bisschen radikal. Heute Morgen haben wir schon gehört, dass gerne der Telegraph aus Amsterdam hier auf der Bühne gesehen worden wäre, weil er einen sehr radikalen Ansatz fährt. Spilgames, ich darf dir gleich das Mikrofon übergeben, zeigt einen radikalen Ansatz. So kann man es machen. Wie gesagt, jeder hat seine eigene Publisher-Strategie. Jetzt wird es aber richtig interessant. Pass.
Thank you, Torben. I'm going to do this in English. The funny thing is, I'm going to do this presentation since I signed my contract with Spil yesterday, so I'm a little bit in the deep here. Forgive me for being a little bit harky here and there. So Spilgames decided to go completely automated 8 months ago. I'm going to tell you about why we did that and how we did that and what we think about how automated trading is being implemented within a publisher and why we do it and whether it's easy and maybe just flipping a switch and wait for the money. By going through these points, the challenges of a global advertising sales company, how we changed our commercial operations, and how we see the future, I hope to give you some insight on what we did. First of all, of course, some information on Spil. We were founded in 2004, a big gaming company. We operate and own portals, we develop games, and in 2012 we reached over 200 million unique users every month. In several countries we rank #1 as a gaming destination, and you can see the growth that we had in the last years with regards to our monthly active users. So for this year we expect to go over 240 million unique users to be monetized across the world. So this is all great reach, great products, but how do you monetize that across the world? So these are very big challenges. First of all, being global means that you add new countries to your to the audience every month, actually, in the last years. And it becomes very, very costly to recognize within those countries the buyers that you want to work with, let alone to be able to operate a sales team in there. Sales cycles become very long. Agencies have more sources that they can choose from, so they're very picky, and it takes ages to get a campaign going, which is, you know, bought directly on your site. Getting an international budget is even harder, if there even is such a thing as an international budget. The burden of an international organization on traffic and operations is immense. Different time zones, different formats. They could all, you know, we could all make mistakes. It would hurt reach. It would hurt the campaign of the advertiser. It's horrible. Then also, of course, the pressure on finance. How do you make sure that you actually get paid from within all those countries that you're operating in? Despite all these difficulties, we were still managing to grow our revenues year on year. But we thought that we had to be a little bit more agile and adjust to the changing market conditions. Normally you would see a Lumascape thing here, but I decided not to have that because you've probably seen it like 10 times a day. But I do think that as an industry we suffer from building hypes and believing in them, but not actually executing them. Every day we read somewhere that the next big thing is going to happen, and if you're not in there, you're going to be dead as a publisher or an advertiser. It's not going to work. So it's very hard for a publisher like Spilgames to cut through the crap and see what's really going on in the market. You know, looking at this year will be the year of mobile talks that we hear every year. I'm told it's going to be happening this year. It's all very, very hard to build your strategy on. Nevertheless, we thought that looking at the numbers and all the things that were happening on the demand side, that automated trading was the way to go for Spil. So we decided to go automatic all the way, which is a hard thing to do as a publisher, because basically you're stepping away from a thing that you always have been doing, that's sales. Also, there aren't very many publishers that actually kill their own direct sales and go automated all the way, and we did that 8 months ago. So we decided to stop all direct sales efforts and refocus a lot of those people in those teams on something else. We even had to close down some offices in certain countries, and we decided that all other revenue had to come from automated trading channels. The only thing that we do with agencies is going through sales houses. It's a painful thing to do, especially when your revenue is still growing, your reach is growing, you think all is good, but actually it's not, because the market is changing, and like I said before, if you don't adapt, you probably will not survive. We had to decide on what formats we would be keeping in those automated trading channels and what we would not be offering to the market. For example, video is still not very automated, but we're doing a lot of revenue with video, so that poses a big problem. Some countries have non-standard IAB formats, which we couldn't integrate into our automated trading channels, which then affects revenue. Still, we thought this was the way to go. We made a start with a data strategy, not only for RTB purposes for ourselves, but also for cookie and user monetization. And besides that, we also wanted to make sure that we knew what our demand partners to our automated channels were doing with regards to data collection. So comparing the first months of this year with the ones of last year, we can see there's an increase in revenue, and we can also see there's an increase of 60% of revenue that's coming through our automated partners, which is in the end very good for us, of course. So what do we think next? Where will we be concentrating on? We will further develop data, our data strategy, We have some cool stuff going on with Improved Digital at the moment, where we will combine RTB data with our own first-party data and start building audiences on the base of that. We're also looking at other partners where we can combine our data sets with to be able to build audiences that we don't recognize ourselves. The next thing that we absolutely need to do with all the information that's available in all the platforms that we work with is start to really package our inventory. There's always a lot of discussion going on about premium inventory, and I still haven't found the answer of what is really premium inventory. And I think by having the right information and combining that, you can start packaging your inventory and price it accordingly, and therefore also have a better offering to the market. Okay, so mobile. We have a huge user base on mobile, on touch devices, which we are not currently integrating in our automated channels. So that's a big challenge to encounter. Video. Like I said before, video is going to be much more part of the automated sales channels as it was in the last years. With 200 million unique users, we absolutely believe that we can grow a lot on video revenue. And the last thing, which is the latest hype that we read about, is premium programmatic. We want to make sure that all the direct sales partners that we have can and will book their campaigns through automated channels and make the pressure on our traffic team as low as possible. So 8 months after deciding to take the plunge and become a fully automated publisher, I think we're still at the beginning. Our team is learning on what to do, and we have to refocus their attention. We also have to teach them new things. It's really difficult for them to one day only work with sales houses and now have to be adjusting campaigns within RTB systems like Improve. We think that it's not just about putting a floor price in the system and then sit back and relax. You really have to make sure that you're connected to all the revenue sources in each geo that you operate in. In some countries, where we are active, there are very big sales houses that run everything, and there's no RTB going on. But I do think that those markets will develop very quickly as they have learned from the mistakes that we made as Western European countries in the last 5-6 years. Again, our revenue increased. The RTB revenue that we saw increased 5-fold since 2011. So all in all, it's been a very good choice for us to become fully automated. And we expect more to see it, more to come from that sector, and not have a very big sales organization working for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Bas. Hi, everyone. Great to be here. And from what I understood, I will stay a little bit longer, at least as long as your fellow citizens keep on striking at the airport. But for now, I'll keep it to the next 10 minutes to give you an introduction on how we, in the Netherlands, at eBay, Marktplaats, work with our private exchange. Give you a brief introduction. Marktplaats, the website that I work for, is the largest classified site in the Netherlands. It's acquired by eBay about 5 years ago. Has about 6.5 million unique users, a reach of almost half of the Dutch population of 13 years and older. And on the media side, what we do is, of course, we sell premium display, we sell integrated concepts. And since about 1.5 years, we also have our private exchange. Quite a challenge. as it still is, it definitely was a challenge. How do we leverage our inventory? How do we deal with this automated channel where budgets are shifting towards? And how are we not harming our premium sales, whatever that is? And I'll define that later on. At least we had one helm to hold our hands to, and that was the quote by Steve Jobs: "Innovation is the ability to see change as an opportunity and not a threat." So that was what kept us going 1.5 years ago. So let me briefly talk through why we did the private exchange, but moreover how we use it and how we see the future. We all know that only 10 years ago the world looked like this. Very simple, to be honest. That it changed recently, and that is mainly, if you look at all the automation that is taking place, mainly driven by the demand side. And only recently publishers woke up and realized that, hey, if we keep on being squeezed out of the equation, we will lose all control that we already lost to the ad networks and see our margins only coming down. So that's why when sell-side platforms came into place and gave us a chance to gain back control. And that was the main reason why we said we have to do this. No matter what the outcome will be, it's a no-brainer to do this, because otherwise we will be out of the game. First of all, to leverage on the real-time bidding growth. Real-time bidding is seeing enormous growth. As we all know, the whole share of display that is taken by RTB is growing very fast. We need to take back control of our prices, control of our inventory, and control on who we want to allow on our website. We have to be better in yield management, yield optimization, and finally we all know that somehow, someday data will be part of the equation, and a sell-side platform only makes that happen more easily and more quickly. So how does our private exchange work? You see it on the, you see the black box. This is how we actually represented it and how we explained it to our executives at eBay and Marktplaats at the very beginning. That's a private exchange, and they still didn't understand what it was. It is a black box, at least in the beginning. That's how we position it internally, next to premium, where you have guarantees, where you have the flexibility, you have account management, and all kind of targeting. So this was very easy to position it, because a black box, we said, is no guarantees. You don't know where you will be show up. So there's an algorithm behind it that optimizes for the click. And it's mainly used for performance campaigns. Oh, performance campaigns. Yeah, we are mainly doing branding campaigns, so it's not cannibalizing. So go ahead, Joep. I think, or we think that's a good idea. Well, we all know now that the private exchange doesn't look anymore like a black box. Let me go into that a little bit further. First of all, if we want to take control, we need to understand what are the drivers of growth of a private exchange. We see 3 drivers of growth. It's on the demand side, it's on the supply side, and it's on the pricing side. These 3 together are actually the tools that our yield manager has to optimize the revenues on our platform. I'll go briefly into these 3 growth drivers. First of all, on the demand side at Marktplaats, eBay in the Netherlands, we distinguish between 3 segments on the demand side, because they have very typical characteristics in terms of how they buy in the exchange. First of all, there are the RTB-enabled parties, trading desks, which do all things automatically. Our relationship with them is, well, if they find or they have defined an audience and they find it in our network or on our website, they will buy from us. Then we have direct clients, very important, and I'll tell you in a second why. And thirdly, we have the ad networks. Ad networks are distinguishing, at least in the way they have been defining themselves and been successful for years. And if you look at how our revenues are being split across these 3 demand side segments, it is about 40% RTB, 40% direct, and 20% ad networks, and that last part is only decreasing. So why is direct client so important for us? Because that's the only part in this whole equation at the demand side where we have control as a publisher. We have about 300 to 400 relationships, direct relationships with the top advertisers in the Netherlands. And only by building on that relationship and convincing them why they should be part of our exchange, we make sure that we have a revenue stream that is in our hands. Because again, RTB parties only buy from you if they find that audience, which they may find on any other website, in this case on our website. So direct clients very important, and we want to maintain that share at 40%, maybe even a little bit higher. So on the supply side, we looked at all the formats that we have. We said some are more premium than others, and initially we started, and we still have only about half of our formats into our exchange. Yeah, I won't go through all of them, but I want to show here, and this also was very helpful internally, that it's not that we put everything in the exchange, which is actually related to the one guiding principle that we had from the beginning. Let's do things one step at a time. So we played with formats, we played with floor prices, but we never did everything at once, because otherwise we would lose any learnings from what we were doing. So you have demand, you have supply. Maybe on the supply side also, what we found out so far is that of all the inventory that you put in the exchange, all the impressions, we like to hold on to a fill rate of between 90 and 95%. So 90 or 95% of all the impressions that are being placed in our exchange should be sold, and that's a sign of a healthy supply side in the exchange. The third driver, the floor prices. Initially we had one floor price, and now we're actually experimenting with having floor prices at the group level, so different for the home page than for group pages or results pages. We also are experimenting with floor prices, different floor prices per demand partner, and again we do that one step at a time in order to see what happens on the yield management and optimize yield management. Where are we heading with the private exchange? Oh, this is a slide being built up by many parts, but we're heading in the right direction, but we're not yet there. So far, I would say we are 1.5 years into this exciting endeavor. We have put all the tactical things in place, and we now really move to the more strategic implementation. And what do I mean by that? First of all, it is now seen as a permanent sales channel. It's not anymore seen as a channel to sell performance-related campaigns. No, it's being seen as a channel that is called automated, no matter what you buy through it. So whether these are performance campaigns, whether these are branding campaigns, whether these are low CPM campaigns, and even now we're experimenting with more premium campaigns. So people also buy, advertisers also buy premium advertising throughout our exchange. Because in the end, it's all a matter of who do you allow to buy what at what price. So even a billboard on the homepage, are we now trying out to sell through the exchange? But with a floor price, I say something not at €1, but at, for example, €10, a much higher floor price above which the parties can bid. We are investing in internal expertise. We're building up a group with people who are dedicated working on this. Our philosophy, by the way, on the sales side is that everybody should be able to sell everything. So you should be able to sell standard display, premium display, integrated solutions, and you should be able to sell the exchange. So we don't have a separate sales force for that. We start to use it as an intelligence tool. We learn a lot about it, which parts of our sites are performing well. So we use that information for our pricing strategy. And we're also now into how can we use more of all the data that is available in our exchange. Whoa, this slide got really messed up. But it looks interesting. This was a pyramid, which was actually showing that, okay, performance campaigns, as we see them now, mainly through RTB, direct buys or ad networks, that is already in the private exchange. Already now you see that all the standard IAB formats, even the ones that are premium, like a billboard, are moving into exchanges, into private exchanges. It's not a threat, it's not a cannibalization, but because what's in the end is cannibalization if you cannibalize on products that otherwise you wouldn't be selling. So you see more and more agencies, for example, demanding that also our billboard and even a homepage takeover in the near future is being sold through, at least being bought through an automated channel, in this case our private exchange. And then we have other premium programs which are mainly non-standard IAB formats, but even these I would expect that in the near future, in 2 years, they will all be sold through our private exchange. And last but not least, it's the small top of the pyramid, but it's bringing in most of the money, at least in the foreseeable future, is that our main focus on the Salesforce side is sell all these integrated, customized solutions and sponsorship programs on the Marktplaats real estate. So that was very brief. I'm curious myself in how quick I did this. Well, 12 minutes, so thank you very much for your attention. And if you have any questions, please feel free to come afterwards to me. Thank you.